Alright guys, we got a no heat call on a train package unit, and we'll try to see what we can come up with. Went inside, checked the thermostat in the house. Homeowner replaced his thermostat. Thought maybe it was an issue. It is wired right, it is set up right. We do have power, obviously the draft motor's running constantly. So I'm guessing we're on some kind of a lockout. So let's see what we got. For our fault code here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So let's check our fault code. We have a pressure switch fault on this thing. So we are getting a call. Let me confirm that real quick. This is a 2-stage system. Let's see what we're getting here. So we are getting a 27 volt call. The first stage. We are not getting a call as yet for second stage. We'll double check. We put a 2-stage Honeywell wireless, like a Honeywell 6000. Not the T thermostat, but the I think it's a 6000 series he put up. So I have to double check that, make sure it's 60. I got it set for 65 inside, and it's 56 in there, so it should be turned up high enough to call for both stages. But I'm gonna go ahead and disengage this. And we're going to reset the power and start from scratch. And I'm just going to use R from out here and jump it out and bypass that thermostat. Go grab my manometer real quick. So we do not have a call. Reset the breaker. I don't know what that pop was I heard. Green light, solid. We'll check what solid is. Continuous on is normal operation, but this draft motor is still running, and I have disconnected thermostat. I'm not getting a call. Oh yeah, now I am. So yeah, look, this one too, just in case. But these package units, 2-stage, you have to get a call for first stage for second stage to even come on. Let me hit that disconnect one more time. Disconnect out. When I put it back in, immediately the draft motor starts running. control board problem more than likely. So I want to check and see what kind of draft I'm getting from that draft motor. And confirm basically whether my pressure switch is closing or not. There's a couple of ways to do it. I like to get a T fitting and run across the switch along with the motor and check everything in line, see what kind of draft is getting pulled. So I recorded this part after I closed out the video, and now I'm editing it further in because when I thought about doing something. One of the faults these things will do is if that pressure switch is stuck closed, when it gets a call for W from the thermostat, it's going to go into that fault. Now that board's telling this thing to run constantly. I already know that's a problem. But that means when it gets a call, that switch is already closed. So when it does that test cycle, it's not going to do anything. It's not going to fire off. So what I did is I disconnected the hose in here, reset the breaker. Then I came back, gave it a call for W1 at the thermostat wire with the hose disconnected so that the pressure switch wouldn't be closed on startup. And then it started to go through its test sequence. Then I put the hose back to the pressure switch to simulate the system closing the pressure switch normally after the call for W, and it fired off. But I sat here and the blower motor never came on. I energized G and the blower motor never came on. So now I'm gonna hook up this zebra tester real quick and we're gonna test this motor, see if it's the board or the motor, because I don't want to assume that the board is causing that problem and this problem without actually testing this motor first, because it could be the module. So let's check that real quick. And like I said, I want to double check because I don't want to assume that this board is causing that problem and the blower problem. Come back, put a board in it and put a heat exchanger in it, if that's what he decides to do, and then you get it turned on and the damn blower don't work. So then you're looking at another problem. So I want to confirm, does he just need a board and a heat exchanger, or does he need a board, a heat exchanger, and a blower module? And this is a 16 pin variable speed motor. So as long as that motor spins free, which it does, more than likely if there's a problem with this, it's just going to need a new module, not the whole motor. So let's see what happens when I get this thing hooked up. Alright guys, so I've got this tester hooked up. We have a blue light. I don't know if that shows on the video or not. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But we've got our power here. Basically you just connect your 24 volt hot and common, and then you connect this to your motor with whatever adapter you need, and then we'll try to run this thing and see what it does. Where's the one for this motor? It's going to be this one right here. And let's turn the fan on, see what happens. Oh, probably nothing if I don't hook the high voltage back up, right? Alright guys, yeah, very important to have high voltage supplying your motor if you're trying to run it. So anyway, let's turn this thing on in fan, see what happens. Absolutely nothing. Make sure this thing's plugged together tight. It is. Motor should come on and run. Do heat one. So I'm calling for heat one and fan. This motor should be running. and it is not. And alright guys, as a fail-safe, I know that works, I've used it, but things can fail. We're going to double check with this good old reliable Techmate Pro. One switch, one motor. I'm going to confirm my high voltage real quick, and if it doesn't come on with this one, then he's going to have a issue with a board, a heat exchanger, and a blower motor. I do have 240 volts feeding our blower motor. Let's turn on the old Checkmate and see what happens. Plugged in, no blower motor. That's not bad. That's not bad. So now he needs a board, a blower motor, and a heat exchanger. Now the rest of this video was recorded before I decided to do all this checking. Luckily I did. Come back and put a board and a heat exchanger in it, didn't find out there's a bad blower motor, then you're in a bad spot. So always double check things, guys. Enjoy the rest of the video. Let's see what I'm doing. This is my hose port back there in the back, which I can already see this model train. If you look back there and watch that thing, see it wiggling? See it spinning? Bad design from Train. Anything since I think 2015 or 16. I think we did this on an inducer motor change one time. All the new package units got away from, they quit putting the hose port back there because it would rust and corrode and come apart. And they changed and put the inducer motor where your hose port goes on the inducer housing to the pressure switch instead of the front of the face panel, because those things were rusting out. The only way to fix that is to replace the heat exchanger faceplate. So it was just a bad design on Train, and that's why they changed it. But anyway, I'm checking in line between there and the pressure switch. I'm getting a 0.25, 0.26. Should be a lot stronger than that, I would think. 0.27. So that thing being loose probably has something to do with it. Let's see what this switch is rated for. No, that switch is a 0.1. If you look at it real close, it's rated for 0.1, so that should be closed. So now I'm going to check across these two wires. If that switch is closed, I should be getting 24 volts across both of those wires. So I'm going to hook the hose back to the pressure switch. I heard it close, but we're going to double check it with voltage. So put one lead up there on my ground. If it's closed, I'll get 24 volts at both of these wires. Well, no, I'm not right now, because I don't have W1 hooked up. So I'm gonna check continuity instead. Continuity. Our switch is closing, so that control board is going to be a problem. And if it was just that, this unit's 11 years old, I'd say probably fix it, but if I'm not mistaken, this whole heat exchanger has to be replaced because it comes all together as one assembly to fix that problem. I mean, I could bore that out and put an access fitting or something, screw something in there and seal it up. But that's just not the proper way to fix a gas furnace. So it is what it is. We're gonna give him his options and see what he wants to do. But definitely got an issue with this board. Yeah, I'm not getting a call connected. I've got my wire disconnected there. You pull that disconnect out, this thing should come back on and reset itself. That light's showing its normal operation, but that draft motor should not be running. And when I send 24 volts, it should be firing off without a problem. So I'm definitely gonna say bad board in this case, and heat exchanger. I'm gonna call Train, get the information on it. Maybe this heat exchanger has a 20-year instead of a 10-year warranty on it. I don't know, but we'll find all that out, guys. Anyway, Train package unit. You can stop them.